Hey everyone, my name is Robin Solonenko and I'm your Access 365 database instructor. And this is a video from my Access 365 intermediate course. One thing you cannot get away from when working with databases is calculations and dates. In this short video, I will show you how to calculate with date fields. This is good for those who simply want to know the records that are 90 days overdue, or for those records that need to renew their memberships. Don't forget to check out the entire Access Intermediate course on my site, and we will see you on the other side. Welcome back everybody to this topic where we now look at dates in calculations. Again, we did start it in course 1, but we're going to go a little bit deeper now. And we're going to focus in on table officer. And the question or the query is going to be, I want to know all officers who have been hired after it's been 45 days since they've been hired and they still haven't taken the first aid course. Well, if we open up table officer, first thing we're going to have to do is that the dates of hire have to be adjusted first, because it depends when you purchase this course. These dates are all past 45 days. So what I'd like you to do is take 3 officers. You can randomly pick any 3 officers. Make sure they have not taken the first aid. And 2 of them, I want, and again, it can be any 2, they have to be past 45 days. So go 50 days past today's current date, whatever the date is when you're watching this video. So I'm going to go back about 50 days at least, or I'll even go 60. So that puts me December 20th, 22. And this one I'll also put December 20th, 22. And then the third one will only be like maybe 20 or 30 days past. So in this case, I will go January 24th, 23. Okay, so just to repeat that, we have 3 officers that have not taken their first aid. It can be any 3. And 2 of them their hire date was at least 50 to 60 days ago. And 1 of them was like 20 or 30 days ago. Okay, because the question will be, show me all officers who have not taken first aid and it's over 45 days since they've been hired. Because the idea here is we want them to take the first aid course in the first 45 days of hire. So you'll have to change these dates accordingly based on your own current date as you're watching this video. Oh, now I just realized I made a boo-boo here before. Let's fix this first. This one should be off and that one should be on. So the dates that you adjusted here should not have taken first aid. So those 3, and you adjusted those 3 date of hires. All right, so we'll close that out and let's create a new query in Design View based on table officers. And we'll take their badge number, first name and last name, and also give me their date of hire and the first aid course. Where is that? Right there. Okay, and again, you can click in the last empty column here to the right of first aid. You can zoom in your Shift F2 or your Function F2. And we want to call it 90 days, or I guess 45 days. You can give it any name you want, colon, and the calculation. Okay, so if we do, we're going to do a date diff. Okay, and we did touch on that last course. And the date diff has 3 arguments, so bracket, and the first argument is it needs to know how to return the day, the response, days, months, or years. So it's going to be double quote D for days. And then we need to know the actual calculation. The fields are you referencing? We're referencing the date of hire field in square brackets, and that's how it knows to look for our fields, comma, and then today's date, which is date, bracket, bracket. So unlike Excel that uses the word today, Access uses the date function. Okay, so basically it says take the date of hire minus the date and return the response in days. So I'll hit OK, And let's go view this to see what we get for responses. So you can see we have 27 days since they've been hired, 6443, 62, 3100, 62, 67. Now you can see the question is which ones have not taken first aid, and it's over 45 days. And you can see there's two of them, John Doe and Donald Duck. So we're not finished yet. Back in our design view, we need to throw in the criteria row for the 45 days, greater than 45. Oops. But we also need in the first aid column, criteria row, false, because it's a true yes, no checkbox scenario. Now when I view it, there they are. There's the two people who have not taken first aid, and it's past 45 days, which I guess for clarity, I'm going to rename this, just throw the word past in front of, whoopsie daisy, in front of this 45 days here. Just like this, past 45. Okay, stretch that out for you. Okay, let's go view it. And voila, past 45 days, and that's the number for you. Okay, we'll save that as officers who need first aid. Okay, so every time you run that query, if it's 45 days past, it will show you. Okay, so that is one method of using referencing dates. Now let's try another. But this time, let's base it on table tickets. So if we look at table tickets this time, you can see we do have a date issued here. And I do like to, or would like to see, let's say, 90 days past. So what's a due date of 90 days. So let's create a column that adds 90 days to this. Now we're going to do it two ways because I want you to see the how the date diff can be a good or bad. It depends on the format you're using, and or more precise. So let's go create a new query based on table tickets, and we'll take the ticket number, so double click ticket number, date issued, and that's actually good enough. We are going to click in the third column here, empty cell, and let's do the method that most people would do automatically. So if you want to zoom in on that, remember we're going to give it a date, so due date, colon, anything to the left of the colon is the field name, and then a simple calculation. And all you're going to do is take date issued in square brackets, because that's the name of the field, plus 90. That's very popular to do. There's nothing wrong with that. So you hit OK and go view it, and you can see you have 90 days past that date issued. Well, come back to design, go into the fourth column, empty cell, zoom in, and we're going to do a date diff calculation. We're going to call due dates to colon, but we're going to change it a little bit. So we're going to say, not a date diff, sorry, a date add function. So date add function, and oops, I forgot the 2 on that. It'll give you an error if you try and use the same field name. So date add. And this one, kind of like the date diff, it needs to know the format. So obviously it's days in double quotes, comma, how many days are we adding? 90, comma, to what field? Well, square bracket, date issued, square bracket. This should give us the same day, and it will, because we're just saying, again, add 90 days to that date and return it in days. Say OK. Not return it in days, apply it in days, and when you go view it, you should have the exact same date, which is what we expected. But the question begs, when you're talking 90 days, is it 3 months or is it 90 days? Because there is a difference, and that is what will determine if you do a simple calculation or if you use a date add function. So let's come back to design view, and what I want you to do is, again, you can zoom in. You can switch this D here to M for months and change the 90 to 3. So we want to say 3 months. Okay, hit OK. And now view it, what do you get? Your due date number 2 is off a little bit because it's based on months that have passed, not the days. So you may want to check your policy there. Is it a true 90 days, or is it just based on months? Remember, not all months have the same days. February has 28. So in this case here, this person due date is April 1st versus March 31st. So some of them are the same, some are off a bit. This one here, for example, was August 8th, due date November 6th, but now they get an extra 2 days because of the dates, the months it falls in. Okay, so that is just using your a date add function versus date diff, and you're telling to add months. So this gives you a little more control as to what you're doing, months, days, or years, versus a simple calculation. It's always going to be using days, okay? So just keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and save that as a tickets due date. And that's all we have to say for that. Okay? All right. So that is all we have to say for using dates in calculations. We'll see you in the next topic where we talk about self-joining queries. See you on the other side.